This is Maria. And how do I know it's Maria? It's because it says so right here. That's Maria. And you want to see the other side of Maria? Well, it's on this side. Right there. Okay. And Maria has all sorts of problems. The brakes don't work. The kickstand is ruined. But most importantly, and the reason for this video, is the wheel is really bent. Alright? And this is why we're filming it. So you might be asking yourself, how do I fix that? Well, for the most part, you can't. And the reason why is because it is bent. You can't use wheel truing technique on this because there aren't enough threads on the spokes to bring this type of warp into play. Okay, and so we have to use something else. The good thing is, for you home mechanics that don't have a truing stand, you don't need one to do this fix. And it works often. What I'm going to use is just my brute strength. And it really doesn't matter how big or tall you are. So even if you're a teenager or a youth watching this video, you can do it. Now, this rim is painted black, or maybe it's black anodized. And I would normally mark this. If this were silver, I'd use a felt tip marker. But what I'm going to use is a piece of tape, just so it gives it a white background, and then I'll mark it. Alright. So let me take a moment and I'll remove the rear wheel. Alright, so if I give this wheel a spin, you can see that it has a very large warp. You need to make a decision when you look at this. You have spokes on the hub here. They go on the right side. This is where the gear is. The right side to the rim. And on the other side you have spokes from the left side to the rim. So you need to make a decision when you look at this, what is straight and what is bent. And so you have to look at the relationship. And here what I did is I cut a strip of tape right here. And you can see it's a dot with a circle around it. And that's the point of an arrowhead looking at you. So this is the side that I'm going to try to move inwards towards me, because this is a major warp. And then a lot of times it shifts to the other side, and so I put another piece of sticker here with a dot and a circle, which is another point of an arrowhead, meaning that it's going this way, so I need to hit the rim here. To do that, you can do this on a sidewalk. In this case, I'm going to lay out a board on the lawn and demonstrate it there. Alright, so before I start, I want to make sure the tire is pumped up pretty hard, because I don't want to damage the rim while doing this. Okay, incidentally, if the bend, whatever direction the bend is, the spokes are going to be very loose. And the other side, the spokes are going to be really tight. And so you can kind of gauge when the rim is true, the spokes are going to be of equal tension. Alright, so this is the mark that I want to hit with. And this is a board that I have on the ground. So I'm going to hold the wheels from the side. And I'm going to try to strike this part of the rim right here on the tire. Right. And you can kind of see that right here immediately, this bend is much less. Right, so we're going to do this again right there. You don't want to overdo it by hitting it too hard, so a lot of smaller hits are good. we're going to flip it over and do this side now. And sometimes it's going to create, you'll see other bends. So there's one right here now. And so I'm going to strike it right here. So you can get it pretty close, all right? And I think you can see this. And so now it's good enough that I can put it on the truing stand and finish it up. But if you don't have a truing stand, this is probably good enough. You can put this on the bike and roll. But what I'm going to do is, when I bit it on the stand, I'm going to tighten the spokes up also, because these spokes are all very loose from the factory. Okay, and that'll make the wheel a lot stronger. Okay, with the wheel on the truing stand, I'm going to creep up on the bend. I've got, as in previous videos, I've got the spoke wrench and a needle nose pair of pliers. And so we're going to work with the worst part first here. And I'll just describe this as I go. So I'm going to tighten up the spoke on the right side a little bit to bring it in before at the bend, a little after the bend. Okay, that one's done. We'll move on to the next one. This one's pretty tight, but I'm going to change the feeler so that you can kind of hear it. You can see this one move. So these spokes are very loose. They're probably like that brand new out of the box. So it was a weak wheel to begin with. So whoever bought this, you know, had a losing hand. Right. Now on this one here, we're rubbing right here. So I'm going to tighten this spoke up a little bit. And now it's rubbing on this side, so I'm going to tighten up this spoke on the right. Here. Now continue like this for quite a while until we can get the tension of the spokes well enough. Here it's so it's just a small quarter or half turn, and I think every spoke here is going to need to get either tightened or loosened. Sometimes you have to make a decision because the change will occur between two spokes. So more spokes on a wheel, the stronger the wheel is going to be, easier it is to true. This wheel will never be perfect, but we can probably try to get it close. So all I'm doing now is tightening a spoke either on the left side of the hub or on the right side of the hub. since the spokes are loose, I don't want to loosen them any more than I need to. And the reason why I use a pair of pliers is to prevent the spoke from twisting while I'm tightening it up. If you have difficulty seeing what if the rim is touching the feeler, just close one eye or look on the other side of the wheel. The spoke is really loose. It's almost finger tight. So you just need to work the spokes a little bit just to get it to have some tension. Yeah, so the bend vacillates begins between. So the wheel starts to vacillate left and right between each spoke now, which means you're getting pretty close. Alright, when you think you've got it about right, you want to squeeze spoke pairs to relieve the stress that's built up into it. Right here, this is a very weak spoke. And then we can check the trueness of the wheel again. Alright, so let's work on this one, this pair. That means there might be if the spoke is very loose, that means there might be a flat spot on the rim. But I'm in the position of really wanting to jack out a flat spot on a cheap bike. I think right here is a blip in the rim too. Right here. I can see it. Okay, so I'm going to loosen this up a little bit, give you an idea that now it spins well enough. I think there is a flat spot here because when I close the jaws, this will rub on both left and right, which means that there's a flat spot here. And you can kind of feel it too when you come to it right here. Okay. So I think this might be good enough. What I'll do is I'll service the hub. Let me adjust this up here. I'll just service the hub up here and readjust it also. So I'll put in grease, put in some oil in the gap up here on the freewheel, and we'll call that good. And I'll take a look at the front also. Let me come closer and tilt this down. You can see what I did to the bike. All right, so here's the rear wheel. And it doesn't rub. It rolls pretty true, however, and there's a fairly large gap between the pads and the rim walls, but still when you squeeze the lever hard, there's still a gap. Okay, and so I think it's probably has a wobble of about a millimeter, but I think that's good enough. Let's take a look at the front. The front spins well, and there's a lot of clearance between the brake lever and the handlebar. So incidentally, if you find that the brakes are not centered, use a 10mm wrench in the back to tighten it up as much as you can. This one has wrench flats right here, so use a 15mm open wrench to center the brake calipers on the wheel. And that's how you do it on the rear too. You've got a bolt back here that you can, a nut that back here on the other side of the brake bridge that you can tighten up. then use a 15mm wrench in the flats here to center it up between the rim. Okay. I lubed the rear hub and I lubed the freewheel too. I checked all the parts for tightness, made sure that the handlebar stem is not loose, as well as the axle nuts front and rear. I removed the chain guard that was cracked here and readjusted the brake cables. Typically what I do with that is I'll loosen this up, squeeze the brake calipers, pull out all the slack, tighten it up a little bit, and then squeeze it. Squeeze the brake levers while I'm pinching the brake cable and let it feed through my fingertips, and I'll tighten it up all the way when it feels right. So this bike is ready for a child to use, and you know, that's how you make a minor repair on a bike with a hopelessly bent wheel. So again, I'm Win, cycling instructor. If you like what I have, subscribe to my channel, and feel free to ask me some questions. I'm generally pretty good at answering them. All right, here's Maria, and she's all fixed, repaired, and ready to go. Brakes are adjusted, wheels trued, handlebar stem is tight, brake levers centered up, saddle looks good, the rear wheel is as straight as it's going to get. Rear brakes adjusted, chain tension is good.